Hey guys, it's Ashley and welcome to another reading vlog. Today, wait, hang on. This doesn't feel right. Much better! I have no idea if that transition worked the way that I wanted it to because I'd never tried anything like that before, but I guess while I'm editing, I'll find out. So everybody, welcome to Camp Jupiter. Did I buy this t-shirt just for this video? Yes, I did. Thank you for noticing. If you haven't already guessed, today's reading vlog is going to be all about The Son of Neptune by Rick Riordan, book 2 in the Heroes of Olympus that I'm finally getting to. In my defense, I have read this book twice already, so getting to it for a third time, it was gonna come eventually. Okay, just eventually. Maybe not right away, but eventually. I'm gonna carry you over to the bed because it's getting really annoying to have to bend down. So technically I already started this book. I am about 40 pages into it, and before I got any further, I wanted to start this vlog because I have so much I already want to say that it's like so hard not to say it right away. Before we get started on the actual video, just as a reminder, for my reading vlogs, if I am talking about something that spoils the book, I will make sure to put a book cover in one of the corners down here so that you'll know that I'm talking about spoilers, and when it goes away you are free to unmute or whatever you did to not hear the spoilers. I try to make this vlog as accessible to everyone, people who have read the series and people who have not, as I can. So as I mentioned in my last vlog, it's going to be very hard for me not to mention things that happen farther along the line down the road in the series, you know, since I've already read the whole thing. Things that I notice in this book that I realize either foreshadow something or whatnot, you know, down the road in the series. I'm gonna do my best to give a spoiler warning, but I just want to preface this whole video once again by saying if you are spoiled in any way whatsoever during this video, it's not a big deal, it's just a spoiler. What is it gonna do? Ruin your life and affect your children for the rest of your years to come? So, The Son of Neptune. This is the second book in the Heroes of Olympus, like I said. We follow Percy and Hazel and Frank, and we are introduced to Camp Jupiter as well as Reyna and, you know, all of the backstory that goes along with that. Like I said, I'm 40 pages in. At this point in the story, Percy has made it to Camp Jupiter. He doesn't know who he is, and we're all just waiting for everybody to realize what the hell is happening. I realized that this book is like totally different than the first book in the series, The Lost Hero, because in The Lost Hero, we as readers didn't really know what was happening until the very end. We didn't know who was behind all of this. We didn't know what was going on with Jason and Percy and all of that. And yet in this book, we start off already knowing everything, and now we're just impatiently waiting for the characters to realize the same thing. So 2 different reading experiences if you are reading this for the first time, but I'm really excited to continue to dive in and see what else I have missed by not rereading this for a very long time. Like I said, I'm currently on page 43, which is a Percy chapter. We've had a lot of Percy chapters in the beginning of this book, but I'm just kind of like waiting for Hazel and Frank to come in here. One of my favorite things that I love about the beginning of this story was how much it reminded me of the end of Percy Jackson and how much that I had missed, and like, not missed, but forgotten about. We get a mention of Percy's skin being like iron because he has the mark of Achilles, which happened in book 5 in the Percy Jackson series. He's trying to run away from the Gorgons, and as he's doing it, he, you know, remembers Annabeth, but not who she is, only her name and like what she looks like and whatnot. He had spent months with Lupa, the wolf, who we learned about in The Lost Hero, training to be, you know, somebody worthy of Camp Jupiter so that he could go to Camp Jupiter and do all of that stuff. And then something that I totally forgot about, what is Reyna's backstory with Percy? I remember the whole backstory that had to do with Hazel and Leo very faintly. Like, I remember more of it than I do the backstory that has to do with Percy and Reyna. So, I don't remember. Oh my god, no I do! Oh, I just remembered. Okay, never mind. I'll talk about that when we get there. But anyway, just all of the things in the beginning of this story. I love being back with Percy. I love Percy being thrown into this new world, and my favorite scene that I remember the most out of this book that I already read, but the scene that I remember the most before I reread this story was the one where Percy is carrying Juno into Camp Jupiter. They're fighting the Gorgons, whatnot. He steps into the water and he uses his hands and raises the water, and everybody's just like, oh my god, what is going on here? And he's just like, you know, battling it out with the Gorgons and whatnot. My favorite. But then I also remember that being a son of Neptune is technically like a bad omen in the Roman camp or world or whatever, so that sucks. And then before I make this introductory clip way too long, because I know that there is a ton more to talk about in this book than what I've already read, I just want to make a mention that every single time Octavian is brought up, I want to projectile vomit across the room. And we love that. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm so excited to have my Camp Jupiter t-shirt, even though I'm pretty sure the canon, like, actual what's written in the book is that the t-shirt only has this SPQR with the laurel or whatever on it. It doesn't have like all of this writing and stuff, but I don't care. This is the shirt that I found online, so this is the shirt that I'm wearing. And I'm totally fine with it. I just got to another one of my favorite parts in this whole book. Pleased to meet you. I'm Nico D'Angelo. I haven't actually gotten to the scene yet. Nico was just introduced, but like I totally forgot that this happened in this book. I'm just imagining being Nico and being like, you know, oh my god, it's Percy. And then, you know, with all of the stuff that happens with Nico and Mark of Athena, which I'm so excited to get to. And then being like, stay calm, pretend you don't know him. Hi, how are you? Yeah, so the scene with Octavian went just as I had expected. I still wish that I could just projectile vomit across the room whenever he shows up in this book. He basically blackmailed Hazel, which I'm not happy about. And also, I always forget the, like, great prophecy, the prophecy of 7 or whatever. The scene in The Lost Hero where they recited the prophecy and Jason finished it for them was like, oh my god. But then in this one, Percy sees the prophecy and he's like, that is important. And everybody's like, yeah, we know. It's been here for thousands of years. And Percy's like, it's important. Anyway, that's it. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, I just finished the scene with Nico and Hazel, and I love this book so much. Nico and Percy were talking, and Hazel was like, he knows Percy. How does he know Percy? And I'm just like, oh, you don't even know, girl. I'm really excited to get into Hazel's backstory, which it seems like we're going to start already in Hazel's first chapter. I'm really, really excited to remember exactly what it was about her and what happened in her past, because she keeps mentioning, you know, the whole curse thing, which I remember a bit about when I first read this story, but I'm just really excited. Oh my god. And Nico playing the whole, like, you know, important things are underfoot, important things need to happen, you know, secrets need to stay secret for now, we just need to, you know, do what we can for the whatever, because the world is about to change and things are about to happen. And I'm just like, oh, Nico. Oh, Nico. Literally just this, like, scrawny, messy-haired goth kid who's, like, so important to the story, and I cannot wait until the Mark of Athena. I'm so excited. We can't forget about Frank. Frank, come on. Teddy bear Frank. I'm so excited. So it's really gross outside right now. It's like thunderstorming and raining, which is why this lighting is so horrible, but we're just gonna have to deal with it because I meant to update you guys last night on how far I had gotten in the Son of Neptune, but I totally forgot as usual, and I'm doing it now, so yay. I'm currently on page 179, so I've been like flying through this book. I went through a couple Hazel chapters and then a couple Frank chapters, and now we're back to Percy, and they're just about to go on their quest, which I'm really excited to read about because I don't remember anything at all about the quest. Like, I remember the first chunk of the book where like he's introduced to Camp Jupiter and stuff like that, but like as soon as they leave for their quest, I don't remember anything. So I'm really excited to continue to read. But first things first, let's talk about Hazel. I love her so much. I totally forgot that she came from the 1940s-ish, and also I forgot that Nico came from that era as well. I don't know what is wrong with me, but I literally just complete brain fog until I read it, and I was like, oh, wait, yeah, that happened. Like, am I just dumb? How did I forget about the Lotus Hotel? Like, and Nico, and Bianca, like, what? Ashley, what? So yeah, Hazel came from the 40s. She's got this whole curse thing with the gems that she can summon from the ground when she's, you know, upset or worried or anything like that. And basically if somebody picks it up, then they're kind of cursed and they, you know, could die or bad things could happen to them and stuff like that. Pluto did tell her that a descendant of Neptune could help break her curse, which, if what I remember from the first time about reading this series, that descendant of Neptune is not the descendant of Neptune that we think it is, which I'm really excited to get into all that. But yeah, the scenes with Hazel and her mom from the 40s, I totally forgot about all of it. So I'm really excited to continue going into her backstory more. And then of course we have Frank, whose backstory I sort of kind of remembered a bit more than Hazel's backstory, to be honest with you. His life is tied to a piece of wood, which is what I remember the most. He is Chinese, Canadian, and also now descendant from the Roman god of Mars. So he's got a lot of things going on. His mom has, you know, abilities that he doesn't know about yet, which we know about, but he doesn't know about. Yeah, the whole scene with his grandmother after or before his mother's funeral, and she brings out the wood with the box with the wood in it, and she's like telling him the story of how like, oh, you were born and you had too many gifts and you are going to bring, you know, our family full circle and blah blah blah. So Juno tied your life to this piece of wood because although you were the most powerful, you had to be the most vulnerable, blah 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 blah. So all of that just like was so sad to me. Like I'm just imagining Frank as like, I don't even remember how old he is, but just like sitting there being like, what? Like right before his mother's funeral. Like, all right, just throw all of it on him right then and there. But I do really love him, especially in that scene right before Mars came and claimed him and whatnot, in the like battle game scene or the war games or whatever they call it, when he and Hazel and Percy worked together and they got the banners and whatnot. I love it. I love Frank. You take charge. You always doubt yourself and you always think you're like this clumsy oaf and blah 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 blah, but like don't doubt yourself. Like you can do this. You can do great things. But like honestly though, hands down, my favorite part has to be Nico trying his best to pretend that he doesn't know who Percy is. Like literally it's the cherry on top. I'm pretty sure I stopped on the scene where Raina was about to talk to Percy about how she knows him, and from what I remember, she worked with Circe, right? She was at like the spa or whatever in one of the Percy Jackson books. It was her and her sister, I thought, maybe? I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was her backstory. She was, I don't remember if she worked with Circe, if she was there of her own free will, if she wasn't, whatever happened. But yeah, I remember that backstory. So now it makes sense why she reacted the way that she did. And to be completely honest, I'm really just here waiting for the scene when Piper and Jason and Leo and Annabeth and Coach Hedge, if I'm not mistaken, they, you know, descend from the Argo 2, Argo 2nd, Argo 2. How do you say the ship name? I've never figured that out. When they descend from, you know, the sky, they fly across the US and they go to Camp Jupiter and they pick up Hazel and Frank and Percy and then they head over to the Mediterranean. I am just waiting for that scene. I'm waiting for it. I can't remember if it happens in the Son of Neptune or in the Mark of Athena, so I'll put a spoiler warning for both books, but that's the one scene that I remember the most. I'm so excited. So excited. So I'm back in the Camp Jupiter t-shirt. Let's talk about this book. I'm on page 280, just about 279. And I can't really remember what happened in between the point that I last talked to you and the point that I read up until. Okay, we're gonna start where I think I remember I was. I think I ended on the conversation with Raina and Percy, and I totally forgot that Raina was basically asking him to be a praetor with her. Like, the fact that she's like, okay, like you just got here, you're still a probatio, whatever you want to call it, but I'm willing to allow you to skip all of the possible lines in order to be a leader with me. The fact that she would rather do that than lead with Octavian I think just speaks for itself, you know? But regardless, I really liked the response that Percy had when he was like, look, I don't want power. I don't want leadership. Like, I just want to get my memory and my girlfriend and my loved ones back. And she's like, you don't want power? That's not very Roman of you. And I really liked it because it called back to the end of the Percy Jackson series when Percy was offered godhood and he turned it down, you know? I love my boy Percy. Also, I didn't realize how absolutely impatient I would be for Frank to learn how to use his abilities from his mother's side. It's literally driving me up the wall. All of the, like, you know, mentions of it and all of the hints at it. He's still just like, what? And I'm like, oh my god, just learn what you can do already so we can move on with the story. And then of course there's Hazel. I totally forgot the fact that she went up to Alaska with her mom. I forgot that her mom was overtaken by Gaia and that Gaia lured Hazel into helping her in order to get her mother back. Hazel was the one who ended up raising Acleones. I don't know how to say his name. Every time I say it when I'm reading, I say it a different way, but it's the eldest giant in Alaska that they're going to battle. That is what I'm talking about. Anyway, in other news that has nothing to do with this book, because to be honest with you, that's all that I remember reading about, I want to say that I have gone on Instagram recently, and on my explore page, right? You know how there's that joke that if you look at something on Instagram for like, you know, one day you take like, you know, 30 minutes out of your life and you like look at something on Instagram or whatever, and then all of a sudden that's all your explore page wants to give you. Like somebody, I think recently I watched a video where somebody was like, yeah, I looked at football and I watched videos of food, and now all Instagram recommends me is football and food. And I'm like, can't relate because I don't like football. And also can't relate to that either because my explore page changes all the time. So I don't know why I gave that analogy. But anyway, basically my explore page recently has been nothing but dog videos, which I'm not mad about in the slightest. And Percy Jackson memes. Don't ask me where this came from. I must have clicked on something that I don't remember clicking on, and now all I get are Percy Jackson memes. It's so funny. Like, I knew that the Percy Jackson fandom was like a thing, but I don't think I realized that it was a thing with a little trademark symbol on the end of it until just now, until I started looking at Percy Jackson memes on Instagram. It's so funny. Yeah, I don't know what it is, what I've become on my phone, but that's what's happening. So my Instagram is filled with nothing but Percy Jackson memes, and my YouTube is filled with nothing but recommendations to watch more BTS videos because I've gone down a rabbit hole that I never thought that I would go down, and now I can't seem to find my way out. Now my camera's dying. Everything is just a show over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm gonna keep reading, and I will make sure to update you when I remember what the heck I read before I stop talking. After I stop talking. You get what I'm trying to say. Everything is on fire. Everything is, it's all coming up water. Isn't that the saying? Isn't that from a John Green book? Why did I just quote that? Okay, so it's been about an hour or two later, and clearly I have not moved. Good news though, which, I mean, the not moving part isn't necessarily good or bad news, but in other news, I am almost done with this book. So that's fun. I'm on page 399, chapter XXXVII. Which is just 38. Why did I say it like that? You know what's happened? I've watched too many BTS videos, and now my brain is like hardwired in Korean. No, that's a lie. I wish that I could just watch a couple of like BTS music videos and like fluent in Korean. I wish. Anyway, what am I even saying right now? So a couple of scenes I've gone through in this book, a couple of really important scenes that I totally forgot were even a part of this story. First up, we have Phineas and Ella. So the whole thing with Phineas, I don't care. Ella, I care about though. I totally forgot that Ella was introduced in this story, just like I totally forgot that Melly was introduced as a character in The Lost Hero. I love Ella so much. She is the harpy who is a big reader, but she is a, what's the word? She has like a photographic memory, so she can recite literally anything that she reads. Like, she's amazing. And she memorized the Syllabine books, which are the ancient prophetic, is that even a word? Prophecy books. To be honest, I don't really know what they are. I just know that they're books and they're full of prophecy, and now they're gone. And they're in Ella's head now. I just actually got to the scene where Percy contacted Tyson and said, hey, look for Ella the harpy in the woods. And so I love their relationship in the future. But backtracking, so we had the scene with Ella and Phineas, then we had the scene with the Amazons. And again, I didn't know that it was introduced in this book. I literally did not remember any of the middle of this book. We got the Amazons, we got Raina's sister, Hyla, I don't know how you say her name, and I was right in remembering that Percy found them on Circe's Island. Apparently Hyla, I'm gonna say Hyla. Apparently Hyla was in the Sea of Monsters in the book. She greeted Percy when they got off the boat, which like was mentioned in this book, but I don't remember that happening in the Sea of Monsters, though it probably did because we all know my memory is absolute crap. I really like how those are like kind of woven together in that way. And I love the Amazons. Oh my god. I love when Hazel was like, but you hate men. And they're like, we don't hate men. We just like putting them in their place. And I'm like, ooh. You go. And then we had the whole scene with Frank and his grandmother. So Frank finally realized what the family, okay. So Frank finally realized what the family gift was, but he still can't use it. I got excited for a minute because I swore I remembered him using it in those scenes, but nope, I was just imagining things. So yeah, he still doesn't know how to use it, so we're waiting for that sort of realization to come through. But the whole grandmother scene with Frank was so sad. Like the part when he was like, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make you proud. And she like said really quietly, you already have. And he's like, what? And she's like, what? And I'm like, it's so sweet. Oh my god. And then the whole conversation with Frank and Mars when, you know, Mars was like, war is a duty, blah, 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 whatever the hell else he said. I always forget sometimes how deep Percy Jackson books can get. Like, we're here for the characters, we're here for the, like, you know, angst and the adventure and the excitement and the death-defying stuff and the funniness that, you know, Rick Riordan throws in there. But of course there are always these conversations that come back to like characterization and come back to like motivation. Yeah, and as much as I love, you know, all of the things that make these books what they are, I appreciate those scenes even more so now that I'm getting older and rereading these books and realizing that I just kind of skipped over them completely to get to the fun parts when I was younger. So we just got to the plane that's going to take us to Alaska, to the giant whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce again because that was a mess. Percy is remembering who he is and who his friends are, and he told Frank and Hazel about Camp Half-Blood, and the moment when he was like, there's another camp, Camp Half-Blood, and then it said that he was filled with like homesickness and he could smell the strawberry fields, and oh my god, it made me so happy. Like, I appreciate Camp Jupiter, but like Camp Half-Blood has my heart. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't affiliate with you. So I'm gonna keep reading, see what I can get done tonight. I might end this vlog in this same exact position, I don't really know, and we'll see what happens. I really don't think that I can finish it tonight because for some reason I can only go like a chunk at a time before I have to take a break from reading. I'm sorry for how chaotic this end of this video is getting. Like, I want to say like halfway through the video I just fell into a bed of chaos, and that is just all that's like swirling in my head right now is the one line in On that's like, can't hold me down cause you know I'm a fighter, keep on and do find me and I'm gonna live with you, hey yo, that's what bring the pain on you. I need to stop, I need to stop, I need to stop. Can't hold me down cause you know I'm a fighter. Okay, bye. Okay, so last night at like midnight, I was in the middle of watching more BTS videos. We're not going to talk about that. And in my head, I'm like, oh my god, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to have none of the rest of this book read, and I'm going to be like, spoiler alert, guess what I did last night? But surprisingly, wait, I can't grab the book from behind me. Surprisingly, I finished the book last night. Granted, I was up until like 1:30 to 2 a.m. doing it, but I finished it. So final thoughts. I thought that when they slayed the giant in Alaska, that was cool. I liked how Frank had to use his burning stick of life thing to free Thanatos from his chains. I really love that line. Only the fire of life can break the chains of death. I don't know why, but that's like, I love that line so much. Hazel and Arion. I totally forgot to talk about Arion. I love him. Speedy, fast horse, yes. And then Percy getting his memory back slowly but surely over the course of the second half of this book, and then finally getting it all back in the end, and then meeting Tyson and Mrs. O'Leary at the entrance to Camp Jupiter, and they went and they fought, and it was great and wonderful, and I loved it. And then of course one of my favorite parts was after the whole fight in the resolution and whatnot, they get a message from Leo from Camp Half-Blood, and immediately Hazel is like, oh my god, it's Sammy Valdez. And you're like, wait a second, wait, Sammy Valdez? And then of course in the next couple of books you get the connection between Hazel and Leo. The end of this book is just like, I love it so much. It's so sentimental to me when you read about Percy throwing his arms over his new friends and he's like, come on guys, I have some people I'd like to introduce you to. When like the Greek tyranny or whatever it's called like descends over Camp Jupiter, I love that part. Every single time I read it I'm like, oh. But then at the same time, like they stop right there. So it's like, you need to get to the Mark of Athena immediately just to have that like settled and to have that resolved and to have that closure that you need, and I'm not gonna get that because I'm not starting the Mark of Athena right away. Sorry. I hate myself because I really want to read it right now, but I'm gonna make myself hold off. I also just want to throw in there that I absolutely love at the end when Percy is like, Hazel and Frank look like they're dating. I really hope that they're dating. I hope that they made it official. Are they a couple now? I'm like, yes, they should be. If they're not, they are adorable. Oh, Frank got control of his ability, which we knew was gonna happen, but I still love that moment. I love that moment when like he comes full circle and he's like, oh my god, I can do it. I love these kids realizing their full potential. I'm just really looking forward to the Mark of Athena, to be completely honest with you. I'm really looking forward to all of the characters coming together and some of them meeting for the first time and some of them being reunited with their, you know, families and whatnot, like Percy being reunited with Annabeth, Jason being reunited with Camp Jupiter. Like, I'm just really looking forward to it. Also, I'm looking forward to more Coach Hedge because I know that he's the satyr slash protector that comes on the journey. I love Coach Hedge, as we know from my first vlog. Protect Coach Hedge at all costs. That's my campaign that's going around. Oh, and I'm really looking forward to some of the other things that happen in the Mark of Athena. Nico. Speaking of Nico, he's been captured. He's been like kidnapped in this book. I totally forgot that that happened, but I'm not okay with it and I need him to be okay, and therefore I need to read the Mark of Athena. That's just the conclusion that I'm coming to at this point. I just need to get started on it as soon as I can, which is not going to be as soon as I can because I have so many other things I need to do. So in the end, we accomplished book 2 and I cannot wait to get to book 3. If you guys have any thoughts, feelings that you would like to share about book 2 and the Son of Neptune, let me know in the comments. If you have a favorite book in the series that you are either really looking forward to me getting to or have already gotten to, let me know in the comments. I honestly don't know what my favorite book in the series would be. I want to say it's the Mark of Athena, but I need to reread it to be sure. But other than all of that, I think that's going to be it for this video. So if you want to follow me on any of my socials, all my handles will be in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching these slightly chaotic vlogs, and I will catch you later. Bye!